We want to understand as students of knowledge, your understanding to do Bismillah is not like any regular person. There's 1.5 billion Muslim or 1.8 billion Muslims outside. If you ask them why they're saying Bismillah to matters, many may not even know that. As a student of knowledge, you're supposed to get the entire perspective as to why you're saying Bismillah Rahman Rahim to everything. Now you should come out with a different understanding as to why you say Bismillah Rahman Rahim. When you say Bismillah Rahman Rahim, you're exerting your entire tawheed to Allah in that matter that you're saying Bismillah to. It has all aspects of tawheed in it. You're saying, when you say Bismillah, you say Bismillah, Allah permits me to do this. Adhin Allahu li. Bismillah. And if Allah did not permit me, I would not do it. So when you're saying Bismillah, you're saying I'm doing it for the sake of Allah because Allah permitted me to do this. Allah allowed me to do this. Adhin Allahu li. I'm doing it for your sake, Ya Allah, because you permitted me, you allowed me to do this. That's why you don't say Bismillah when you're committing a sin. May Allah guide us and protect us from that. But if someone, la samahallah, is drinking alcohol, they don't say Bismillah. You don't say Bismillah, because if you say Bismillah, you're actually getting two sins. You're saying Bismillah that Allah permitted you when Allah never permitted that, and you're getting the sin for drinking the alcohol. So you're getting two sins if you do say Bismillah. Even though, believe it or not, it's a trend in some countries, in some Muslim countries, that they say Bismillah before drinking alcohol. So that's Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Bismillah, Allah permitted me to do this. I'm doing this for the sake of Allah. So we're doing this for the permission or by the permission of Allah. This is Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. The next one, that's the first point. You can call this 1A or point number 1. The second point is 1B or point number 2, whichever way you want to document your notes. Tawheed al-Rububiyyah in Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. When you write down, who gave you the power to write? Allah gave you the power to write. So when you say Bismillah, you're saying, I could not have done this without the power Allah has given me. Bismillah, I do this by the power Allah has given me. Bismillah, I eat because Allah has given me this provision, and because had it not been for the power Allah has given it, I wouldn't be able to chew it. Bismillah, I write because if it wasn't for Allah giving me the power, my hand wouldn't be able to move. It would be paralyzed. That's like saying, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. If it was not for His power, I would not have done this act. The power that Allah has given me to do this act. That's why Allah says, وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. Every provision you have is from Allah. So that's the second aspect. That's Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Third one is Tawheed al-Asma' wa-Sifat. You're seeking blessing by the name of Allah. Bismillah, you're using the name of Allah to bless whatever you're doing. So when you're using the name of Allah, and then following, which we'll take later on, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, those are names and qualities and attributes of Allah that we will discuss, inshallah. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim we will discuss later. So you're using the name of Allah to bless the act you're doing. That's Tawheed al-Asma' wa-Sifat. That applies to any matter that you say Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim to. Any matter you say Bismillah to. Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim is called Bismillah. When I say Bismillah to eat or to final exam, for example, I say Bismillah to bless that matter, to bless the test that I'm taking. That's Asma' wa Sifat. Allah gave me the power to eat or to write. That's Rububiyyah. I do this for the sake of Allah, by the permission of Allah. He permitted me to do this. It's halal, so I'm doing it. That's Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. And likewise, take it for everything else. You understand now? When you say Bismillah, now you're going to get a different perspective of what you used to say Bismillah before. Sometimes you're saying because you read a hadith to say it. Now you understand why you're saying it. Now let's take some linguistic notes on this matter. The ba in Bismillah is isti'ana and tawakkul. The ba, to seek help, independence on Allah. The grammatical rule in Arabic is al-jar wal-majroor fi al-basmala muta'alliqun bi-mahdhuf taqdiruhu fi'lun la'iqun bil-maqam. When you say Bismillah in Arabic, it automatically implies you're saying, Bismillah, I eat. Bismillah, I drink. Bismillah, I write. You don't have to say the act. that you're saying Bismillah to it. You don't have to specify, I drink, I eat, I write. The Arabic language eliminates the need to mention the act you're saying Bismillah to. It's automatically implied. So you don't have to say the word I eat. You don't have to say the word I drink. It's automatically implied in Bismillah. That's among the beauties of the Arabic language. When you eat and you say Bismillah, it's like saying Bismillah I eat, even though you don't tag on the word I eat. I want you to understand this fully. If you're writing and you say Bismillah, it automatically means Bismillah I write. الجار والمجرور في البسملة متعلق بمحذوف تقديره فعل لائق بالمقام. That's the grammatical Arabic rule. Now we establish that rule. Every time I say Bismillah, it automatically means Bismillah I eat. It automatically means Bismillah I drink if I'm drinking. Bismillah I'm riding in my car. It always comes after the name of Allah. Note, I always said Bismillah I eat. I never said I eat Bismillah. There's a big difference. Why is it Bismillah I eat, not I eat Bismillah? There's a big difference. This is the second grammatical rule that you're going to learn today. The scholars of Nahu said for two reasons. First of all, you start with Bismillah, the name of Allah comes first in the sentence. Bismillah, I eat, let the name of Allah come to bless it. Second is that slight change makes a huge difference. Because when you delay naming the act after, in Arabic grammar, by saying Bismillah I eat instead of saying I eat Bismillah, in essence, it limits your action solely for the sake of Allah. The grammatical rule is تأخير العامل يفيد الحصر. تأخير العامل يفيد الحصر. Bismillah I eat. I don't eat by any name other than your name. You limit it for the sake of Allah. Only for you, Allah, I write. That's the difference between saying Bismillah I eat and I eat Bismillah. Only for you, Ya Allah, I write. Only for you, Ya Allah, I drink for your sake. We took so far how Basmala encompasses the three tawheeds and then the two linguistic rules. And now that's 5 points we took all together. Now let's take the 6th point. Or you can number them. The first one, Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, Tawheed al-Asma' wa-Sifat. You can say A, B, C. And then the linguistic rules, A, B, 2A, B. But all together we took 5 points. Now here, the next point, the 6th point is, why does he start with Bismillah? This is a matter of ibadah. And when you do ibadah, the burden of proof is on you to bring proof. You have to bring proof. When you're doing ibadah, the burden is on the one doing the ibadah to bring proof. Number one proof for that is he's following in accordance with the Quran. The Quran starts with Bismillah. He's starting to bless his work with Bismillah. There's 114 Bismillah Rahman Rahim in the Quran. Even though there's 113 in the start of the surah, Tawbah doesn't have Bismillah Rahman Rahim, but in Surah Al-Naml, Innahu min Sulaiman wa innahu Bismillah Rahman Rahim compensates for the one missing in Surah Al-Tawbah. Ibn Abbas said the Prophet ﷺ did not know the beginning and end of surah except by Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Secondly, the Prophet ﷺ used to write his letters and start them all off with Bismillah Rahman Rahim. In Bukhari, in Muslim, from Muhammad ﷺ to Hiraql, he started that letter Bismillah Rahman Rahim. And then he said, peace be unto believe. Bismillah Rahman Rahim min Muhammad Abdullah wa Rasul ila Hiraql Azim al-Rum. Assalamu ala man ittaba al-huda amma ba'd. In Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, when the Prophet ﷺ made a treaty with Quraysh, Suhail ibn Amr came to do the treaty with the Prophet ﷺ between him and Quraysh. He told Ali, Uktub Bismillah Rahman Rahim. He told Ali, start and write and say Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Az-Zuhri said, narrated a similar hadith like that. Ibn Hajar said it's the trend of the scholars and that which is settled upon that they always start their works with Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Abu Bakr did the same when he sent Anas ibn Malik to Bahrain, and he sent a letter with him. He sent it about sadaqah, and he sent it and he started it with Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Now we got proof from the Quran that the Quran started with it, the Prophet's letters, Abu Bakr's letters, and there's a hadith, alleged hadith, that any important matter which doesn't start with Bismillah Rahman Rahim is cut off from all good. Aqta. In another narration, Abtar. The hadith is narrated in Ibn Hibban and other books, and it's weak. It's weakened by Ibn Hajar, it's weakened by Suyuti, Al-Albani, and other scholars. Some tried hard to authenticate it, but it's weak. Had that hadith been, that direct hadith and starting with Bismillah been authentic, we wouldn't have had to mention that the Quran starts with Bismillah and the Prophet ﷺ wrote his letters Bismillah and Abu Bakr wrote his letters Bismillah. That hadith would have been sufficient. But because the hadith is weak, we can't use it as proof, so we resorted to other proof to establish that saying Bismillah on matters like writing books is permissible. In fact, some scholars, like I said, tried very hard to authenticate the hadith, but it's really a weak hadith and it cannot be authenticated for many reasons that we don't want to get into right now. And in fact, there's an entire booklet on how the hadith is. Al-Aqawil al-Mufassala li Bayan Hadith al-Ibtida' bil-Basmala for Sheikh al-Kittani, who died around 80 years ago. A famous scholar of hadith from Maghrib who died about 80 years ago. Rahmatullah alayhi. It's an entire booklet on that matter. So the next point is the blessing in Bismillah. We say Bismillah to bless whatever we say Bismillah on. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, to bless whatever act you're doing. Islam encourages Bismillah in everything, every situation that you're into. When you're riding, Bismillah. وَقَالَ ارْكَبُوا فِيهَا Bismillah. And he said, ride in it. Nuh told his people, ارْكَبُوا فِيهَا Bismillah. And when sacrificing, فَكُلُوا مِمَّا ذُكِرَ اسْمُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ, eat from that which Allah's name has been mentioned on. Surah Al-An'am. When eating and drinking, in Bukhari and Muslim, Umar ibn Abi Salama said that the Prophet ﷺ told him, سَمِّ اللَّهِ وَكُلْ بِيَمِينِكَ وَكُلْ مِمَّا يَلِيكَ. Even in relationship with your wife, with your spouse, Bismillah, Allahumma jannibna shaitan wa jannib shaitana ma razaqtana. When you're turning the lights off, when you're closing a bottle, Jabir ibn Abdullah in Bukhari and Muslim said, the Prophet ﷺ said, close your bottle with the name of Allah. Turn your light off with the name of, turn your light off. Imagine this, with the name of Allah, with Bismillah. Get used to mentioning the name of Allah and everything for your barakah in your life. That's one of the reasons blessing has been, barakah, the blessing has been taken out of our lives. When they resort to materialistic means, we resort to Allah for our barakah. Bismillah is your means to get barakah from Allah in everything. Bismillah is your means to get in barakah from Allah in everything you do if you say Bismillah. If you get Allah on your side for barakah, what else you know? What else do you need? وَلَوْ أَنَّ أَهْلَ الْقُرَىٰ آمَنُوا وَاتَّقَوْا لَفَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ بَرَكَاتٍ مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ. If the people of the towns had believed and had they had taqwa, آمَنُوا وَاتَّقَوْا لَفَتَحْنَا, certainly we would have opened for them blessings from the heavens and the earth. Allah will open for you blessings from the heaven and the earth. Just say Bismillah. Barakah is the blessing from Allah. If you ever wonder why there's no blessing in our time these days, or in our food, or in our sleep, or in our recitation of the Quran, ask yourself, have you been saying Allah's name? And have you been saying it from your heart, knowing its meaning? After you listen to this glimpse today, you come in with an entirely different perspective on Basmala, inshallah.